Hello and welcome to Animating Cartoon Characters in Maya, presented by Digital Tutors. My name's Delano and I'll be your instructor guiding you through the process of animating characters in a cartoony manner using Maya. Creating the illusion of life in a conceptualized, inanimate character is a very challenging task. One must first understand how creatures and objects move and behave and then use the tools accessible to them to produce an imaginative and natural outcome that an audience will enjoy. And that is our goal in this training, to help you become more proficient in this aspect of 3D production, learning several animation principles and techniques while utilizing Maya's distinguished animation tools. By the end of this training, you'll have obtained a fund of knowledge to make your own characters come to life in an appealing way. But enough talk, let's go ahead and get started by preparing our scene for our project. This is scene 01 located in your project files directory. Now, to mention something about this rig, this is actually the rig that we've built in our rigging cartoon characters training. So we have squash and stretch enabled on this, and a number of other features that are going to be very helpful for the rigging process. Now, also to mention something about the rig that you may notice is slightly different if you've gone ahead and explored the other training. We have a proxy cage set up for the character's torso. And this is going to help us to quickly get in and pose our character and animate it without running into much lag at all. So if you're interested in creating this for your own rigs, if you need to, you can go ahead and explore the free lesson that we've actually made on digitaltutors.com. Okay, now you may be wondering what this object in the center of our scene is. Well, if you were to go to the wagon board layer and check that on, you can see, alright, we have a cardboard layout of the wagon. So this is a prop that we're going to be animating with as well. And we'll get into why this is here when we start discussing our storyboards. So for right now, we can leave it as is. Let's even make a shot camera. We're going to be working with a shot camera and even work on animating it. So we can just work on what we need to for our animation based off of our storyboards. So we can go to panels, we can go to perspective and make a new perspective camera from here. We can call this shot cam, simple as that. And we'll just reposition it so that our watchman is looking right at us. Okay. Don't be too concerned with where it is aligned just yet, okay, because again we're going to be animating it, so we'll be concerned with its position then. But for right now, let's go to view and we'll make sure that under our camera settings that we have film gate turned on. Now, anything outside of this film gate will not be rendered, and I do want to quickly note that we're not going to be rendering the animation in this training at all. Okay, but this is to help you prepare for that process if you like to take it a step further. Now, this film gate is going to help for when the character is ever to come out of the shot. It'll help us to save time animating, because if he's out of the film gate, that means that we don't need to work on animating him. Okay, what I also like to do is have a custom layout to switch between the shot camera and perspective view. So we can go to panels, we can go down to layouts and select the two panes side by side. Can make the right layout the shot cam and the left we can use or make that our perspective camera, okay, or whichever you'd prefer, but this is the layout that I like to work with. Okay, so now that this process is done, we can work on saving this to quickly get back to it if we need. Okay, going in our perspective panel, we can go down to saved layouts. We'll go to edit layouts and we'll make a new layout. From there, we can call this the persp for perspective underscore shot for shot camera. Hit enter and now it's saved. Okay, so if we wanted to get back, we can quickly do that going to panel, save layouts, and there's our perspective shot layout. Alright, so now that brings us to our next task. The next task is going to be to set up our default tangency that we're going to be using, which is going to be linear stepped. When working on animations, especially more complex scenes, I like to block out the animation first with linear stepped. This helps us to get a general idea of our poses and the timing of those poses. It helps us to stay organized and then also have a much more comfortable process going from blocking into smooth interpolation. Okay, so let's go to our animation preferences and we will restore our default settings. From here we can go to settings and it should be set to 24 frames per second. So that's good. For animation we'll switch our default in and out to linear for the default in, and for the out we can switch that to stepped. Okay, and we'll also look at a way we can quickly switch between this and smooth interpolation a little bit later on in training. Alrighty, and the timeline, we can go there and make sure that the playback speed is set to 24 frames per second, and we could just hit save after we're done with all of those things. What I also like to do is on frame 1, okay, we could just make sure that we set a key for all of the Watchmen controls. Okay, so we do have character and sub-character sets within this scene. We can go to the character menu, and I'll turn this off. We could go down to set current character set, open this up, go to Watchmen, and make sure that the top node is selected. From there, once it is, we can simply press the S key on frame 1 to establish a key. So I'll just press S, and there we are. Alrighty. So now that we have this, we have our character locked as far as his first pose is concerned. We can do the same for the wagon if we like. Okay, on frame 1, just press Shift W and Shift E. Okay, and that will key the translate and rotate attributes. What we'll also do is go ahead and turn on auto key. I really like to use auto key because I feel that really saves time for the keying process. Now you do need to be a little responsible with auto key turned on. If you're just posing out your character but don't want to save a pose, you'd probably want to turn off auto key first so that you don't accidentally pose a character in a way that would cause you to mess up your work. So just be mindful with auto key turned on. It can be a great help to us, but it can also cause a lot of pain in a sense if we aren't conscious of it. Alright, so now that we have these tasks done, before we move on to the next lesson where we'll discuss the plot of our scene and also the storyboards, what I would also like to mention is that for the move tool, we can use local. And you can access that quickly by holding down the W key, holding down the left mouse button to get to the settings for this move tool, and notice it's set to local. And we'll use the same for our rotate tool. Okay, for now, and if you hold E, hold down the left mouse button, notice you can get to its options as well. Okay, and this will help us to animate cleanly. Great, well, now that these things have been done, we're ready now to move to the next lesson where we'll start discussing the purpose, our story point, if you will, for this animation.